Let's go around the world and start things off with the Seahawks taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Munich, Germany. The Bucs come into this game as the favorites in this game, although their record does not show that they're the better team. The Bucs are 3-0. Oh shit. That was not supposed to happen. Aaron, there's your pick. Hopefully you're listening to us on our podcasting platform where you don't see that. But Bucs, Seahawks, Bucs are 3-point favorites over under a 44.5. Aaron, why do we keep, is this disrespect? I talk to you all the time about disrespecting with lines and everything. And this isn't this is a road game for both these teams. Both these teams have to do quite a bit of ways of traveling, maybe Seattle a little bit more, but the Bucs get the 3-point favorite here. What is going into that? Are the Bucs back? Are we starting to think the Bucs are back, or is this disrespectful to the Seahawks?
No, it's not disrespectful to the Seahawks. I mean, despite the Seahawks being 6-3, let's remember, they're still the Seahawks. They still have Geno Smith at quarterback. We could go dissect their schedule and talk about maybe what games are good wins, what games are bad wins. They've won 4 straight. They're playing well. There's no reason for me to sit up here and bash the Seahawks or say I don't believe in the Seahawks. But at the end of the day, we have to compare teams. You're starting to look at, okay, now you go position by position. Are you taking Brady or Geno? I'm sorry, I don't care how good Geno Smith is playing. I'm taking Brady. You start talking at offensive line. Maybe you take Seattle's offensive line. But I'm taking Tampa Bay's receiver core. I know DK and Tyler Metcalf are good. Tyler Lockett are good. It's a rough day already. Tyler Lockett are good, but I like the depth. I do like the depth in the receiving core of Tampa Bay, and you mix in the tight end that's been playing really well. And then you talk about the defensive side of the football. I trust that defense in Tampa Bay more than I trust the defense in Seattle. So I don't know that it's disrespectful to Seattle. I think this is a game between two probably even teams right now. Seattle might be playing a little better, but from a personnel standpoint, they're probably even. You probably lean on the side of experience with the quarterback position. I think that shows in the line saying that they're a 3-point favorite. But no, I think this is like one of those games that in reality is probably a toss-up game, but the Vegas odds are like, hey, we're going to go with the experience here in this situation. And you're going to see this with the Giants. You're going to see this with the Jets. You're going to see this with Seattle. There are going to be people that still don't quite fully buy in until we've seen it for a longer period of time. And that's just where we're at. I think it's a fair assessment. You know how I am on resume. Like, you can have a nice stretch. You got to prove yourself over and over again. Seattle has won 4 straight, but prior to that, they had lost 3 of 4. So is that the team, or is the recent team the team? Like, we don't know. So I think that's the question mark there. Tampa Bay has also been up and down, but again, there's a resume there. There's a history of them being good for long stretches of time. And I think that's really how this line really played out.
Yeah, and I think there still is a lot of questioning on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers side. The offense, we know, has not been firing on all cylinders or clicking. And the defense, over the past 3 weeks, the defense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in terms of stopping the run has not been good. They're bottom 5 in the league in terms of yards per game allowed the past 3 games. Last week, they looked good against the Rams, only allowing 68 yards. But AJ, they are going up against Ken Walker this week. What do we expect to see from the Bucs defense versus Ken Walker on Sunday?
Yeah, and I don't know that it was so much that they looked good against the Rams, but the Rams' rushing attack has also not been what it needs to be. That was 2 teams that were going to come out and look to air the ball. They only gave 60 yards rushing to the Rams. When you look at the last 2 games, they were putting up over 170 on the Bucs. They haven't been stopping the run that we're used to seeing from the Bucs. Like, you look at them and they have the top 3 in yards allowed per game, but 4.6 yards per carry is being allowed when you're looking at a guy like Ken Walker, who's come onto the scene really strong and has 5 yards a carry. This guy has been, I think it was 160 last week. This is going to be a team that's probably going to try to run the ball as much as they can to open up the pass because to be honest, the Buccaneers defense has not been as top-notch as it was last season. While their secondary has been good on one-on-one opportunities, only allowing 7 touchdowns, I think, in the last over the course of the season to wide receivers. That is, this Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, they're not the only people who are getting going. I mean, Geno Smith has found a way to adapt to whatever the defense has been throwing to them. Last week, even though Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf were able to score, they did a pretty good job of trying to lock them up. So what did Geno Smith do? He adapted. He found Noah Fant for what felt like the first game all season long. So I don't, and again, to answer that question from earlier, I don't think it's disrespectful. I think with a neutral site, all the neutral games being 5 points or less, I think you're going to get a battle, and you're going to have to see who has the ball last and if one of those teams can prevail.
And let's talk about the other side of things, with the other side of the other team's defense. In this case, the Seattle Seahawks. Where are we at with them? Where are they at right now? They started off the season, obviously. There was a shootout against Detroit. They were allowing a lot of points, but they've seemed to correct things lately. What are you seeing from that defense specifically that matches up well against the Bucs?
Well, the young guys are stepping up. We've talked about Tariq Woolen a number of times. We talked about Kobe Bryant in that defense, Uchenna Nwosu being one of the better premier edge rushers and getting to the quarterback in this season. And we liked that acquisition coming from the Chargers. Maybe the Chargers should have kept him. But I think it's just young guys growing. And this is what happens when you have a lot of inexperience on a defense. You get better and better. You get veterans back there like Quandre Diggs who can help those young guys in the secondary. But just like these young guys don't fear these old veterans anymore. And I think I talked about it the other day, the NBA mentality of, I'm going against LeBron, like, oh, God, there's this mystique about it. Nobody cares it. Seattle players this week aren't coming in there saying, oh, no, we're playing Tom Brady, guys. We got to worry about it. They don't care. Half these young kids don't even really comprehend what Tom Brady has done in this league. I'm serious about this. Like, a lot of these young athletes today don't understand the history of the game because our society has changed so much. We got guys saying they never even watched a football game from start to finish before. That takes away from some of that mystique that a guy like Tom Brady comes in with. So they're not afraid of teams that are veteran, that have a lot of veterans like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're going to come in, they're going to play loose, and they're going to play free. And I think that gives them extra motivation and confidence. And on defense, that's really what it's about, right? Am I confident enough to stand right across the line of scrimmage from Tom Brady or right across the line of scrimmage from Mike Evans and say, I'm going to lock you down? And I think guys like Tariq Woolen and those guys are confident enough to do that. So they've been playing well. Again, do I know that that's the true Seahawks? I don't. I really don't, because they've had stretches throughout the season that they've been up and down. So we will find out as we enter the down the stretch. But I still have Tampa in this one. AJ talked about the defense. There's one thing about the Tampa Bay defense. They give up all the yards in the world because they're on the field a lot, because their offense hasn't scored. They're only still giving up 18 points a game. You look at the games they lose because their offense is not scoring in the red zone. They're settling for field goals, and they're not being able to sustain drives. I think eventually that ends. I said it last week. Eventually those turn into touchdowns, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are good enough to overcome red zone problems, in my opinion. So I have Tampa Bay in this one, 24-20. I don't think you can beat. I think you have to score more than 24 points to beat Tampa Bay in most cases. And I think that's the case here. Their last couple losses, Baltimore and whatever, they were able to score more on Tampa Bay. I don't think this offense can. Tampa Bay wins 24-20.
I don't know.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I'm doubling down. I'm doubling down on this, making this one simple. I got the Bucs in here as well, 26-21, and I feel bad. Like, I'm starting to feel bad. Like, just at what point do we start believing in these? When I get a Giants game, when I get a Jets game, when I get a Seahawks game, like the three teams that have really just shocked the world, and I pick against them, I'm like, what do these guys have to do to earn the trust of picking them in a game? And it's not obviously it's not as simple as that. But in this one specifically, I do have the Bucs because I do think that they're going to start getting things back on track. Maybe divorce Tom is the thing. Maybe that's a real thing, and he plays better. You're on to something there. Give me the Bucs 26-21. AJ, what about you?
Yeah, this is going to sound a little weird, but I think that it's okay to start trusting the Seahawks. I mean, we've doubted them from before the season even started, and they found a way to prove us wrong in a lot of different cases. In this game coming up against the Bucs have to find a way to be less one-dimensional. I know it's Tom Brady. I know it's Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and all those names, but over the last 3 or 4 games, the Seattle Seahawks secondary has allowed less than 200 yards passing. And all Tom Brady and them are going to do is air the ball out. So if they keep dropping passes, it's not going to run the way they want. I think the Seahawks have this one. The spread may be too much here with the 6 points, but I'm going to go 27-21 and keep it. First game, average over more than 5 points in the international game. 27-21 Seahawks.